Welcome back to another week here with the Whiskey Gingers podcast. We've been trying to be a little bit more, objective and try whiskeys from around the world, from around, the whiskey sphere of different kinds. We were trying to get another new country involved. We were looking for some whiskey from New Zealand, which is either incredibly expensive or impossible to import if you live in a Quaker state like PA. And you only have one option for liquor stores. So with that being said, it fit our narrative to go back to Irish whiskey. So this is a gift from Jeff, and
everybody loves Jeff.
God
yeah.
damn it, Jeff.
Yes,
God
the very same Jeff. I think he heard the previous podcasts and decided to get back in our good graces. And an uncorked bottle of whiskey is just the way to do it. And it's Irish whiskey. So this one should slot into the top 5, I would think.
We would hope so. I mean, definitely looks like a good one. This one's called Kilbeggan Irish Whiskey Small Batch is the option that we have today. Looks like a pretty cool company. We pulled up a little bit of information about it. I just have the back of it. I'm just going to read the back of what's going on. It says a small batch rye with notes of pear, melon, soft ginger, and toffee, building to a crescendo of creamy warm spice and with a finish of buttery vanilla.
See, that's when I realized that I sound like a degenerate because it's toffee to me.
What did I say?
Toffee. Which I would have thought you would have been toffee too, because that's very
toffee.
New Jersey,
very
New
New
York
Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I threw that shit away. I threw that accent out.
I guess. I remember, is toffee the right pronunciation, or is it
I don't know.
toffee?
That may
if I can see
look
if
it
I
up.
can
Get one of those
phonetically.
those Google ones that read it out to you.
Yeah.
The auto-generated.
To pronounce toffee, whatever.
Toffee.
Shit, you're right. Toffee. Taafee. Damn.
Somebody get me that toffee.
I'm a degenerate. It still sounds better, toffee, than taffy.
You think so?
I thought so. Top.
Yeah, but we're also talking about two different things. Like this is Toffee.
Yeah, toffee.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
and
thinking.
Then you
of,
said taffy. Isn't that different?
yeah, but
When you say taffy, I think of
like
the
saltwater
water
taffy.
like
saltwater
Laffy Taffy and stuff. Yeah.
When you say toffee, I think of
Yeah.
candy.
Yeah, but it's toffee.
Toffee.
Yeah.
Clearly not though.
Yeah, apparently it's toffee.
Well, the age-old debate has been settled.
Yeah, this has been Semantics Corner with Chris and Brandon.
Exactly. What I think we should do is I'm going to try some. I'm going to open the whiskey. We'll try it out, and then I'll review some of the background about them because I'm a little parched, and I think that it would be good.
So, what do you think without looking at it? Oh, now we already know. I was going to say, what do you think without looking at it? Are we in for a cork or a twist off? But it's a cork.
This is definitely a cork. Yeah, I think this is definitely a cork. There's some debate for how much this cost, and I hope that it's on the lower end because, again, it was a gift.
Yeah. So hopefully.
That is insanely close. I can't even get it open. All right, for everybody that loves this.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
That was one of our better ones. If we ever get really bored one day, we should go back through the broadcast. Well, that too, and just see which one of the most satisfying pop. Oh, we should get a musical friend to put a beat together of just you opening those.
Can you do a pour ASMR?
The first one was better. It had that glug glug. Yeah.
Oh, Chris is too busy talking.
Sorry. Can't help myself. Well, cheers to you, buddy.
It is a little unlike other Irish whiskeys, I think. I'm not.
It's a little bit of the. It's got that rye burn.
Yeah. I'm not the hugest of fans.
I really love how you could tell in the exhale on that one.
Yeah.
That you weren't really feeling it.
You can always tell what Brandon really feels.
It's on my face. I can't hide it. I took a sip of this one. I was like, "This ain't for you, pal. This isn't you."
Better luck next time. Mm-mm. See, it's funny you say that. I actually really like it.
Really? No, This isn't my bag. This is definitely bottom third.
Can we just do a
Of
compilation
just
of
me.
Brandon's faces after he drinks them.
Yeah. You can always tell. Like, I only have to give a review. The ones I like, it's like, oh, this is good. The ones I don't, it's like, it's not bad. It's
Looks
really
like you
not
just had
bad.
looks like you just had, what were those sour candies?
Oh, sour.
No.
Warheads?
Yeah.
Jolly Rancher. Yeah.
No, the Warhead ones.
Warheads?
You
Yeah.
put them in your mouth, and they have the sour face on the front of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Warheads, yeah.
Those that's exactly what your face looks like sometimes.
Yeah. This is one of those for sure.
Like,
No.
I don't know what it is. I think it might just be because I also do tend to like some ryes as well, and it has that rye flavor to it. Even though it's an Irish whiskey, I could definitely see your thought process on it. Do you taste the creamy warm spice with a finish of buttery vanilla?
No, but the warm spice I do kind of get because it's got that like early on. It almost has like a cinnamon whiskey kind of mouth tingle.
I don't know if I get the pear and the melon. That might be
Not a shot.
That might be a little bit of a far stretch, but
Or the toffee for that matter. It doesn't take. The sweetness isn't coming from any of those.
Mhm. Let's see what the background is on this this toffee
I'm going to say
whiskey.
before I insult these fine people.
So
I'm
it
going to
says
find
where
out
they
it's like a
began.
non-profit.
When the doors of the Kilbeggan distillery were shut in 1953, the people of Kilbeggan could have easily accepted defeat. They could have acknowledged that times had changed and that the fate had dealt them more than their share of bad breaks. They would not do such a thing. The distillery meant too much to too many people in town. They would never let its smokestack be reduced to a monument, no matter what the world threw at them. So that's pretty interesting. So it says that they must have closed down in 1953 and must have reopened at some point relatively soon, because this one says 1953, yeah. So they started in 1757, and I guess that they were going bankrupt or something in 53, and they must have opened back up.
How crazy is that you make it through Prohibition, good, through the Great Depression, no problem there, and you still go under somehow? Like, you weathered two of the worst storms liquor has ever had to weather.
Oh, this is kind of interesting. This has it has an area on here that says timeline of trials and triumph. And it says 1405 is the first date that's on here. The first known documentation of Irish whiskey.
Oh, yeah, but they can't take credit for that. They weren't a part of that.
It says Use Betha, or Water of Life, is recorded in the Annals of I'm gonna butcher this. Clonmanose is the name I'm guessing that it says,
Doesn't
but that
sound
was
Irish.
That was back in 1405, so that goes way back. This one says 1757. Matthias McManus establishes Kilbeggan's first distillery. That's kind of cool. 1779, the Distillery Act requires all makers of Irish whiskey to operate with a government-authorized license. Many distillers go underground, and illicit operations spring up throughout Central Ireland. That's some history that I'd like to get into. 1830s, the temperance movement is founded in County Cork. Boo. 1878, fire destroys part of the distillery. 1917, there's food shortages through Great Britain. Distilling of whiskey in Ireland is suspended.
I'm surprised they actually stopped distilling for that.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, when you have things that are made out of wheat and barley and stuff that they actually need for food, they prioritize the food over the booze.
yeah, but like, think how quickly you would get drunk during a famine.
So what they were saying is it seems like excessive tax increases is what led to it being shut down in 1953. And then in 1963, 10 years later, a German buyer purchased the distillery and made a fortune.
Oh, is
selling
this
it
German
off.
Irish whiskey?
German Irish whiskey.
That's why I don't like it.
German Irish whiskey.
Okay, now it's all lining up.
It's good stuff. I like it, actually.
Germans bought that when, in the 50s?
Yeah, it's at 63.
Just checking. Okay.
just checking. I'm pretty sure their ventures in other times were definitely not acquiring whiskey.
Yeah, they were. I mean, they were expanding in a lot of different avenues.
Yeah, not whiskey.
No, a lot of mergers.
Very cool. Well, I like that little history lesson. That's cool. I didn't realize the one I found most interesting was the one from 1405 with the first documentation of Irish whiskey.
Mm.
That's a cool thing to know. I would do more research into Irish whiskey in general, just because I'm kind of fascinated by it in general.
Yeah, I feel like that should have come up sooner because we've had some of the oldest distilleries ever on this podcast, and none of them have mentioned. They did mention the beginning of their history, not the beginning of
the history in general. I mean, we're basing this off of one thing that we read on the internet, so that could be.
Yeah, but I mean, who's it
hearsay?
I mean, it's their website. So.
Yeah, who knows? It doesn't matter.
I don't know. We've taken advice from worse.
In the so, do you think that I'm going to assume that this is definitely not a top 5 contender for you?
No, it's probably a fine whiskey. I just don't happen to like it.
I think we need to have some other ryes to see if rye is really the problem here.
I traditionally haven't been a big fan of ryes.
I'm curious if I have anything else.
I know for a fact ryes I don't like, and I absolutely just despise Scotch.
Is the whistle pig a rye, Chris?
No, I don't think it is. It's bourbon.
I don't know if we've done a rye that I'm aware of.
I don't think we have, actually. This might be the first one. I don't know. I traditionally like them. I think that they're pretty good, typically.
Yeah, let's teach their own. It's not terrible, but it's not great. It's not like France bad, but it's
not France bad. I really don't know what I'm going to do with that bottle, dude. I can't even put it down with a mixer. It's so bad.
It's terrible.
And what's really funny is, so for preface, we were talking when Brandon brought up the idea that we were going to do New Zealand whiskey this week. We were talking about all the different highly recommended oddball kind of countries that do whiskey, and New Zealand was on there, but one of the other ones was actually France too. And I immediately shut that one down because
not that I asked either.
Yeah, our first impression was not a very good one. So it could totally be that it's actually there are better whiskeys in France, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Tell me what's going on.
I mean, your dog was just standing for about a minute and a half.
She's
turning into a T-Rex.
Full-blown human.
She was walking around. She was bipedal. That's why I had to stop what I was doing.
She might need to go outside. We may need to lose our producer for a second.
You still have one.
That's not a bad thought. I didn't think about that, but I wish I would have had the presence of mind to video that.
Yeah.
She was moving.
Which one of you is the real producer and the co-producer?
Hi, we're both cow.
Both
That's
cow.
what it means.
Are you splitting it evenly?
We do it together.
That's fair.
One's there for moral support, and one's working the ones and twos.
Fair enough. I like the sound of that.
But nobody's working the ones and twos at the moment, though.
Here, what do you want me to do? I will
No, you're good.
produce. I will cut.
Yeah.
I will
action.
action.
Yeah. No. We'll move on to the next segment.
Okay.
So while we're talking about Irish whiskeys of all things, we're recording this on the 14th. So St. Paddy's Day is right around the corner. And you might think that'd be a giant holiday for this podcast, considering it's, the Whiskey Gingers podcast and we love Irish whiskey and all. I think St. Paddy's Day is fine. I think it's definitely hard to get a great St. Paddy's experience unless you go to one of the cities that we're about to run through.
Yeah.
Like your local bar on St. Paddy's Day just cares about packing the place and selling beers.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Like, don't come to me with a green beer. It's just green Bud Light or green Yingling. Like, I'm good. The worst is after. I don't know if you have this happen, but if you go, so it's like St. Paddy's Day, that weekend, all green beer. If you happen to go to the bar on the Monday, maybe you had a rough day at work, whatever.
Still green beer.
You're getting, but it's not green enough.
It's got a green tinge to it.
Yeah, which either go all green or swap the lines.
That makes me feel a little bit weird. Well, there's probably so much dye in the lines that it probably takes a long time. It's probably the whole next week is tingy beer.
Yeah, but they can't be. Like someone's got to sit there overnight and just run through buckets of beer because I'm not. I want to take your word for it. Like I want to believe it's the lines.
Nobody can just dump out buckets.
Bars
of beer.
can. However, but if you go to a bar and it's like a tinge of green, it's probably dye. They may just need to clean their lines in general.
It depends where you are, I think, would be if I'd be feeling a little skeptical about that or not. But I get your point. I mean, local bars and local towns usually just try and use it as another excuse to pack in as many people as possible and get from there. And I feel like you have to wonder the authentic experience of the holiday is kind of a little bit skewed anyway because Americans celebrate St. Paddy's Day, I feel like way harder than anybody in Ireland to begin with. So a lot of these holidays, you see like all these German brewfests and stuff, and the best ones of those are the ones where it's like authentic music and food and dancing and everything else. But it's like, do you really associate that with St. Patty's Day as well? I feel like, to your point, maybe some of these towns and cities that do it right will have a little bit more flair to them. Most of them are just like, here's a picture of green Bud Light. I hope you have a good time. We might play some Irish songs.
You hit on a big part of. I've been to number one on our list, and the reason I think they're number one is that they really dive in like the authenticity of it. Great, yes, it's packed. It's a very Irish city, but all the bars you go to, for the most part, it's rock. It's a lot of like Dropkick Murphys and stuff that's similar. Like it feels weird celebrating St. Patty's Day with like trap music blasting, like creepy dudes floating all over. Like that should be. If there's ever a day to just drink for the sake of getting drunk, it needs to be that one, because you're celebrating Irish heritage, and Irish heritage is booze.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
Where is number one on your list? You didn't say it.
Yeah, it's called burying the lead. We're getting there.
Oh, okay.
I got to keep the people on the stream. They're going to leave.
I'm on the edge of the seat, Brandon.
So without further ado, number one, everybody I'm sure could guess, it was Boston, Massachusetts. I think it's the oldest, as far as I'm aware, the oldest St. Patrick's Day parade in the States. I'll have to look. One of the world's oldest, definitely the oldest in America. 1901 was the first St. Patty's Day parade in Boston.
That's awesome.
And they go really hard the right way. Everyone packs the streets. Everyone's friendly as could be. You know, you might bring 6 beers and drink 12 or 14. Like everyone's handing them out. It's traditional. They have bagpipes. They have like,
Isn't that a Scottish thing?
I don't know, maybe, but
I think it's a little bit
pretty cool.
The first St. Patrick's Day parade was actually on March 17th in 1962 in New York City.
Really? I thought
Clearly not, because
the
Boston
first
Yeah.
documented St.
1901.
Patrick's Day celebration parade was in Philadelphia in 1771.
Oh no! Hold on. Should I see if I can find another one
And
too?
I have another one that says the first one was held in the first actual St. Patrick's Day. Was held. It shows that the St. Patrick's Day parade for this one was in 1601.
Okay.
Oh,
I
God.
also got a St. Augustine, Florida. I don't think that
There's a lot of people really claiming to be the
Yeah.
first Irish parade. I will say the first thing that pops up on my phone is what Emily said.
St.
The,
Augustine,
Philadelphia,
Yeah.
1771.
which would make sense because Philadelphia was here first.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the St. Augustine one is very accurate.
What was
They're not
this?
well.
I
For
think
what
you
it's
guys
worth-
said this too. March 17, 1601 was the first recorded parade honoring the Catholic feast day of St. Patrick, and this was in St. Augustine, Florida. Yeah, that's a good one.
But this was when it was like a Spanish territory too.
What's interesting is
Spanish colony under the direction of colony's Irish vicar Ricardo Artur.
they're not listed in the top 15 parades
Here's
in
another
even
one.
America, let
This
alone
is the one
nationally.
you said. More than a century later, homesick Irish soldiers serving in the English military marched in Boston in 1737 in New
Okay.
York City on March 1762.
So I guess the parade existed, but it wasn't an officially like sanctioned parade until.
Well, you also did look up, I think when you looked yours up, you looked it up as the first American St. Patty's Day. But if you think about it, that one that we looked at, the 1601,
Yeah.
it wasn't America, obviously. And even the 1771 one was not, too. So
True. That was they were still colonies at the
so that
time.
wouldn't have been the same thing. Technically, 1737 was probably the first
Yeah.
American St. Patty's Day.
True. So number one, Boston. The rest, Chicago, Illinois is number 3. That makes sense. It should be in the top 5. They dye the river green more so than it usually is
Where?
in Chicago.
Yeah.
That's just an excuse for them to get rid of more sewage on that day.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. They just tell them to open the floodgates. It's it's like the nuclear power plant in The Simpsons.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like the Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
Like the Simpsons movie when he dumped the nuclear waste in there and they had to get put under the dome.
Yeah. Well, the way they write it, it initially will look orange, but using a little quote leprechaun magic,
Uh-huh.
the river suddenly becomes dramatic green.
Yeah, more like all the feces in the water reacts with whatever they put in there.
Yeah, so that's the leprechaun magic is pollution.
Yeah. It's a real visualization of how much like pollution is actually in the water.
Yeah, so I mean they can church it up however they like.
Mhm.
We know what's going on. Denver, Colorado follows them. San Diego, California surprises me
That surprises me.
a lot, just because of who typically lives in California.
Is there a big Irish population in California? I would imagine not, but that may not be true. I mean, there was the whole big railroad boom going on for a while, but I don't think that most of the immigrants were going all the way to Cali.
No, I mean I think most of my people made it to the eastern shores and just kind of hunkered down here. Not to mention like the sun out there year round. Like we're not
Very
built for
deadly.
those climates.
It's very deadly.
We're a cloudy people, so I am surprised that they're on there. Who else? San Francisco. Okay, I take it back. I'm more surprised about San Francisco.
Yeah, that's definitely surprising.
San Francisco is cloudier.
True. However,
Yeah, you're digging yourself into a hole.
no, St. Patrick's Day is a very
year ahead.
beer and whiskey holiday,
No,
and
mimosas and champagne.
San Francisco strikes me more as of a a mimosa and maybe a martini kind of town. So
It's very-
it does surprise me that they go that hard. Although
What are you trying to say, Brandon?
I'm just saying,
I don't know. It's not like you're talking San Fran, not like LA or.
I'm talking.
I think San
places-
Fran's more
colorful.
more. I don't know. I think San Fran's more martini than LA, but I could be mistaken. And we're just gonna move past them as a
You're probably right.
Kansas City, Missouri. No, St. Louis, Missouri. Who cares about Missouri? New York's lower than I thought.
Is it?
Well, the fact they're behind both Missouri's and San Diego and San Francisco is kind of surprising. I thought the East Coast was going to wipe the floor.
You think so?
With the
Yeah, but I mean,
Midwest.
besides Boston, where else would you assume was going to be like really big?
New
You
York,
say New York, but
Philly.
then like, is Philly even on that list?
they're down here a ways, but they are on it. Phoenix, Arizona. I didn't know if that many people were out there. New Orleans. I mean, they want to party in general, but
That's what I said. It's more colorful.
yeah, exactly. This is horrible. This is horrible broadcast because no one can see what we're talking about. But yeah, I'm surprised New Orleans has, I don't know, I guess the stamina left to come right back from Mardi Gras
Yeah,
to jump into.
I don't know. New Orleans is like probably one of my top 5 places I'd like to go.
Yeah, I've never been, but I don't even want to go for Mardi Gras because I heard it gets
No, I
pretty
don't wanna
dicey
go
on
for
Bourbon
that.
Street for that,
Yeah, it's probably miserable. It probably also smells horrible in New Orleans, if I'm being honest. But based on the amount of people that are there and like the shenanigans that probably go on there all the time.
Actually, it's not just Mardi Gras. There's an odor in New Orleans all the time in the downtown area.
If it's
I mean,
not
yeah,
Cajun-
BP
There's
dumped like
also the
17
same-
billion gallons of oil on their shores.
Yeah.
That probably didn't help.
I'm assuming that same odor is in Philadelphia and New York City.
Yeah,
as
have you
well.
ever walked through Philly's streets?
Yeah.
That's
Oh
not a
my
good
God.
smell.
I will never
Yeah.
forget.
I mean, the odor you're referring to is pee.
Yeah.
And shit.
My
Yeah.
8th grade field trip to Philadelphia, and I was like,
It horrified you, I'm sure.
I was like, did they just dump a big gallon of pee in?
Yeah.
It's like you see
Philly
those-
to really get us into it.
Essentially, yes.
You see those movies of like people going outside or TV shows, and somebody will come out of their house in the morning, the sunshine, and somebody does a big stretch and they take a big breath in. If you do that in Philly, you literally die.
Pretty much, yeah. Just from ammonia inhalation. Higher than Philadelphia on the list is Scranton, PA.
Beautiful.
Surprise! The city that may best be known as the setting for the hot hit TV series The Office is one of the largest St. Patty's Days parades in the nation. It is kind of rough though when your city is so one note. It's just they're the background for a sitcom.
About a paper company.
Yeah, and the city itself in it was just a joke because it's it's a paper company in a strip mall with like just a bunch of like smooth brained individuals that work there.
I still want to go to Scranton.
He doesn't
For
like-
what?
I don't know.
There's nothing there, man.
When have I been to Scranton?
When we drove a truck up.
Oh, I've been to Scranton.
But that's what I'm saying. You don't even know you were there, and you were there.
It was great.
There's not many
Best
other.
trip I've ever taken.
Actually, he said he never wanted to make that drive ever again.
Yeah, it's fucking miserable going 476 that far.
Yeah, there's no need to.
You hit that tunnel, and that's it. Nothing else exists beyond that tunnel.
The old Lehigh Tunnel, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one, number 15 out of 15, is Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So Philly's St. Patty's Day Parade started before the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1771, and it's the second oldest in the U.S., surpassed by only New York, according to this source. More than 500,000 marchers and spectators donning green costumes. I can pretty much guarantee it that it is just an excuse to get absolutely hammered. They do something called the Erin Express that goes in from the surrounding counties. It's a school bus that probably had a kid on it, the day before doing his homework, and they load kegs onto the bus. Because you're not driving,
Yeah.
you can just sit on the bus and get absolutely hammered, go hit 7 or 8, Irish bars in town, then the bus drives you home. And I think it's pretty
awesome.
reasonable. I'm pretty sure it's only $50-$60 a head. And it's as many drinks as you can put down in the half-hour ride to the city, which is a sentence I didn't think I would say.
And
I
then
mean-
Monday morning, that same kid is
Yeah.
probably still trying to get his homework done.
Yeah, there's a kid on there, and it's just a sea of red Solo cups and
Or
darts.
hear me out, right? You could pay $50-$60 for that, or you could pay $30-$40 for this bottle and
True.
sit in a comfortable place on your own couch and probably get just as drunk.
Or we could
That's
all
true.
pitch in $20 to $30 and get a big keg and turn it green ourselves.
Agreed.
Can you do that with a keg? I didn't think you could. I don't think you can get inside a keg on your own.
I don't know. I'm just talking out of my,
Yeah.
just blowing smoke. But
What if we
sounds
just put
better.
like a constant drip of food coloring
Like an IV drip into the
on the
keg.
keg, so that way when you keg it, you do it. Or you just put a little fucking thing of food coloring next to it, and you go, and you put like 2 little drops in beforehand.
Can you actually do that though? Can you go every time you go to Florida?
I'll tell you what, I am not planning on celebrating St. Patty's Day this weekend.
No,
I don't think I've ever done it since, years ago. I mean, from like where I'm from in Jersey, we lived right near Seaside Boardwalk, and that had a really big St. Patty's Day parade every year. They just had it this past weekend. They usually don't do it on St. Patty's Day.
the Guidos are all Irish for a weekend.
And there's a pretty big Irish population in New Jersey in general. It's just like New York and Philly. Everybody's either Italian, German, and Irish basically in those areas. And they used to throw a hell of a fucking party in Seaside Heights for that weekend, and it happened to be this past weekend. And there was years where I was going out there for that and SantaCon pretty much every single year.
SantaCon is
I love Santa
time.
Claus.
Yeah. But Seaside SantaCon is just trashy. Like New York SantaCon and Philly SantaCon is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Seaside SantaCon, it's just kind of sad.
Hoboken doesn't do a bad job.
Yeah.
Hoboken does a pretty good SantaCon.
I'm pretty sure Asbury Park had a SantaCon.
They do.
Most cities, I would assume, would.
That's a colorful SantaCon.
No, it is just a regular old red SantaCon.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But we should do SantaCon just for the content. Like we should just like throw on GoPros next year and just live stream us at SantaCon.
Where would we go?
I don't think our current destination has one, so I probably have to go into Philly, which isn't that
Or
bad.
we could go to Asbury and watch the colorful one.
Hey, as long as someone's buying me drinks, I don't care who's doing it.
What are you implying, Brandon?
I didn't imply anything. I just said I am available to have drinks purchased for
Are
me.
you available to be colorful for a day?
If necessary, yes.
If necessary.
Have you seen
As long
Have you
as I
seen
can
drink
present
prices?
it
It
too.
depends how many drinks am I getting out of it.
It's like $12 for a cocktail anymore. I'll do my part.
That's on the cheap end.
I mean, is it? I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Around here it is. Oh, where was I? I was just somewhere where a beer was like 8 or 9. Oh, Hoboken.
Oh God.
Like a draft beer was like $8.50, and there was
Blasphemy.
Yingling. I love
Nice.
Yingling, but like, yeah, I have my own keg. I'll get it for 70 cents out of my back porch. I don't have to put pants on to do that.
All you got to do is put 2 pieces of food coloring in it, and you're good to go for St. Patty's Day.
That's true. We should. I wonder if that works in whiskey.
It might. I don't know. I
Next
feel like that
episode,
was
maybe we'll
soy lit.
figure that out.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, we have to do something pretty like stepped on to do that. Like it'd have to be like Kirkland whiskey or something.
Yeah, the French whiskey.
That might just be it. That might have.
green food coloring in it.
I wonder if the French and Irish have any beef. Let me see. Because that would just be a really good like planting your flag moment.
Stick a flag in it.
Oh, French and Irish War. Here we go. They had issues. Yeah, take that, France, for what you did to my people in 1796 and 97. Wow, that was a quick one. They really got in and out of there in a hurry.
Who won?
We were probably all drunk at the time.
Who won?
I don't know. At that, in the 1700s, it was typically everybody but the Irish. We didn't do great.
They were a drinking people, not a fighting people.
We were a peaceful people overall, unless someone knocked your drink out of your hands.
That's fine.
Do you think that's what France did?
They definitely
Casualties
did.
and
They walked into the nearest pub and they smacked some big beer-bellied man's beer right out of his hand, and he was so pissed off that his entire clan revolted, and they said, "That's it. We're taking France to war."
And France was unsuccessful.
Yeah. Oh, they were unsuccessful. They weren't drunk enough. That was the problem.
Well, almost nobody died. It was like very minimal casualties. So I think it was just a lot of fists.
It was a lot of arm wrestling and
Yes.
perseverance.
Which, I mean, that's what the Irish are known for. We were potato farmers at the time. And you want to talk about strong hands. You think the French were doing that?
Well, what happened was they invented the world's first potato cannon, and that's
That'd
how
be
they
sick.
won
Wouldn't that be
the
awesome?
French-Irish War.
If I could rewrite history, I would replace all Irish cannonballs with just massive potatoes.
Big ass potatoes. And the bigger your potato that you made, like the more high up your family was on like the hierarchy of the land.
That's like your clan seal.
Yep. If you could produce a bigger potato, then you were like the
That's-
best. The best lord. Now I'm getting a little derogatory from the Irish.
It sounds kind of dirty though if you think about it, because you could be admiring someone's wealth and it'd be, oh, you see Orion's potatoes? Like it sounds like a euphemism,
Kind of, but
which it kind of is.
it kind of is.
I mean, if you're that wealthy, probably got some huge potatoes.
Well, on that.
Anyway, we'll wrap it up there. I think I've said enough for the time. Happy St. Patty's Day. We won't see you before then. Till next Tuesday. This has been the Whiskey Gingers podcast.
Hope you all have some big potatoes.
Yeah.
Fucking Jeff.
How'd I